Cripps is out of contract this year. Of course, he was part of the Furphy unbelievable moment, one of them for what he did the MCG late in the game on Sunday. He's out of contract this year, as is Harry McKay and Sam Walsh, who would be leading their best and fairest and is having by far his best career, even though it's been pretty decent in such a short time. He's out in 12 months' time. They've put this team together to have a crack at finals and premierships. Some injuries have curtailed them just a little bit, Charlie Curnow being the biggest one. But I'll ask you, Adam, who's the most important and who should get most cash? Cripps, Big Harry, or Walsh?
Well, I think you have to pay the big forwards the most money, and Harry McKay should be commanding the most cash. I think
last week you chose Norton over him.
No, I didn't. No, that's not entirely true. I sat on the fence as much as I possibly could. Okay. And I said that I think Harry McKay will end up kicking more goals than Aaron Norton. The only reason I would choose Norton is because of that X factor and a couple of hangers. I think McKay will be the more consistent forward over his career. I think he'll command 800 plus McKay. There's no doubt about that. And he's shown this year he's stepped up his game in terms of that consistency, and he's worth every penny. I'd pay Walsh the second most, and then I'd pay Paddy Cripps the third most.
How come?
Well, I don't know what's wrong with Paddy Cripps. We know he's not 100%. We know he's had injuries and been banged up for the first half of his career. I don't know how much better and how that body is going to hold up for the second part of his career. And I watched Sam Walsh live on the weekend, and I've always thought, as soon as Sam Walsh burst onto the scene, well, this is what we're going to see from Sam Walsh over the next decade. It'll be 25 to 30 disposals. He'll work up and back. But I think you need to go to a game live and watch him at the MCG just to appreciate the things that he can do. So I thought he was more of a one-dimensional type player, that just a hard worker who accumulated the footy. But he's got some tricks too, Sam Walsh. He's got a good step. He's really agile. He makes great decisions. He can fool players, a bit like Scotty Pendlebury. So he's not just a one-trick pony, which I thought he was early in his career, and he's only going to get better in the next sort of 5 to 7 years. And he's also a good goal-kicking midfielder, which we love. And Paddy Cripps has been missing a couple of set shots that he should have kicked lately.
I don't disagree with any of what you've just said. I love Harry McKay. I said last week I'd take him over Aaron Norton. I'd probably take him over almost any tall, young forward in the game. I just do not think that Patrick Cripps won't get the most money out of the three of them. And I hear everyone...
Because he's a skipper?
Hey?
Because he's a skipper, because he's
the captain of the club, and he was essentially, for the last couple of years, he's been almost playing the lone wolf as your gun player, okay? He's had to carry this club, and there's been injuries at certain points, and they haven't been exactly the list where you want it, but you're essentially asking Patrick Cripps to take less money, even though, it's different if you win a flag. It's famous, Geelong, we took less cash at Hawthorn to keep a premiership team together. They're asking Patrick Cripps to take less cash when they haven't made the finals, and he's had to shoulder all the responsibility and a lot of the not blame, but I guess a lot of the talk about how good this team is going to be in the last couple of years. If he played well, traditionally Carlton had a much better chance to win. And I'd be stunned if he's third ranked out of those three, even though I understand wholeheartedly what you're saying.
Could there be a situation where, and I know it's more of a hypothetical because one of the players is out of contract at the end of next year, but could they sit them all down and say, listen, guys, we value all three of you equally. We'll give you all 800. How does that sit?
That would be the smart thing to do.
But Cripps is missing out on probably 400 a year if he goes somewhere else.
This is the point as well, because it's all on market value. It's very hard to sit down with anyone and a teammate or in a group, in particular, because you've already given a fair bit of money to Williams and Saad to come over in the last 12 months, which I think if these guys get going like we expect them to, I think I'm not saying it's a bad move at all, but then you're asking these guys maybe to take a little less money when you've been able to pay high-priced recruits to come over to your club.